Do you know what a shock jock is? Opie and Anthony and Howard Stern were kind of like there were a lot of people who sort of copied it, but they were kind of the most well known. And so one day, this should explain to you why all the white boys of my generation are like kind of the way we are. So they had this like psychologist on the show, and some guy from Long Island calls in, and he's like, yeah, so hi, my name's Joe from Long Island. A couple years ago, my daughter died in a car accident. And she had one of those cars. She had a Saturn that like folded up like paper, and this guy starts like going on about his daughter. He's calling like the shock jock show to talk about his daughter dying, to talk to a psychologist about his daughter dying. Some people really don't have anyone to talk to. But then Anthony starts playing sound effects of car crashes. And first he plays like a car crash, then he plays like a woman screaming at a car crash. He's just trying to like talk to nobody in the room like knows what to do. And then Anthony continues to like, then he plays like a like a truck, and then a scream, and then a car crash, and then the sound effect from Reading Rainbow. And yeah, it's good stuff, you know. R.I.P. to the GOAT, Anthony Cumia.
You have autism.
What's wrong with that? I'm passionate about stuff. I don't wish you would do anything. I just
I can't control you.
Welcome to Recine Time, everybody. Thanks for joining us. It is March. It is St. Patrick's Day. We're recording this on St. Patrick's Day, and it is, I don't know what the weather is where you live, but it is like 30 degrees in New York City. Woke up this morning, 30 degrees outside. Felt like 20. Last week we had some very nice weather. The weather it got up to 67 degrees. And my 4-year-old was very excited about this because it was 6-7 outside. But you know what? There's a term for that. There's a term for when it becomes when it's nice. When there's a random nice day in February or March, they call it a fool's spring. And so this morning we're trying to get Benny off to school, and she goes, I can't find his jacket. I go, where's his other jacket? Where's his green jacket? He's got a heavy green jacket for winter. And she goes, I gave it back to your mom. I gave it to your mom with all our winter clothes. I go, you fell for fool's spring. And this is kind of the experience that I have being a father. I think this is the experience a lot of people have being a father, where it's like you know something, you're in charge of this, thing, and the people around you don't listen to you, and you can have the information, you can beat the drum, but sometimes they just don't seem to listen. I was watching an Instagram video a couple days ago, and they were interviewing this like cowboy guy with like a long beard, and this guy was saying, you know, if you're a father and you're not comfortable being the bad guy, you got no business being a father. And I watched this video. I was thinking, what's this guy talking about? You know, what do you mean you're gonna have to? What do you mean you're gonna have to put your foot down for your family or whatever? That doesn't. I couldn't think of any examples. But then I was like, no. Sometimes your wife falls for fool's spring, and now there's no winter coat in the house. A couple weeks ago, my wife is asking me about terror attacks. Okay. She's saying, listen, I'm really worried. You know, this war just started. I'm worried about our son going to school in Lower Manhattan. You know, what do you think? I go, well, you know, there's only a few scenarios where we all get stuck in a terrorist attack. Okay. I said, there's a large scale false flag. Okay. There's Iranian missiles. That's probably not going to happen because their missiles can't reach us, and also they said they don't want to. They don't have any beef. An Iranian guy actually did release a statement, and he said, I listened to the Recine Time podcast, and I'm a big fan, and please come to Tehran. They said, Mike Recine, please tour Tehran. That's what the foreign minister of Iran. No, I wish. Hey, I can dream though. There's a big world out there of people that you can reach. You know, I have a lot of Latino fans. Talked about this. I'm trying to figure out how to reach more of them. I lose sleep at night thinking about how many Latino guys love Mike Recine. I lose sleep thinking about how many Latino men are missing out on the comedy of Mike Recine. You know, hardworking, edgy Latino boys. But anyway, so I'm talking to my wife about terrorist attacks and stuff, and she was like, "Well, you know, I'm gonna email this school in Brooklyn and just see if they have a spot." So she goes and emails them, and I go, "All right, listen, like there's either going to be, you know, a small scale attack, a large scale attack, an Iranian attack, or nukes are going to start flying. And so here's why I don't think you have to worry about any of these." And before I know it, she goes and emails this other school in Brooklyn. Why am I telling you this? I'm telling you this because having the information, monitoring the situation, paying attention to politics, refreshing the feed all the time, you know? It can be a lonely life. It can be a lonely existence. It really can. It could be a lonely existence to sit there and to pay attention, and you feel like, what am I doing? And you know, but hang in there is what I want. Is my message. Hang in there, because it's not going to be like this forever. We're headed towards a better world. Okay. It's Tuesday, March 17th. We're recording this. Is Netanyahu dead? Is he dead? They don't seem to be giving us any of the anything to work with. They don't seem to be giving us the satisfaction, but we do have to take a look at the circumstances and make an assessment of our own. Now, my favorite thing, and like I said, I always emphasize staying positive, looking at the bright side. Okay, there was an Indian journalist who was in Israel and who was trying to get footage of Netanyahu. He was at Netanyahu's house, right, which had been bombed, and he was going. Michelle, can you do the voice? He was going, I'm here at Netanyahu's house. He was like, we are here at Netanyahu. We're here at Netanyahu's compound, and his house has been hit by a missile, and there he is, right over there. And apparently, that was the last time he's been seen alive. I think we all know that we're not really getting good information. It's hard to get any kind of reliable information. You can spend time online and stuff, and you see all kinds of, you know, clickbait and misinformation and stuff like that. So I want to focus on what we know here. There was a video, Indian journalist saying there's Netanyahu right there, and apparently that was the last time he's been seen alive. That journalist has been arrested in Israel. So that's cool. He's been missing from multiple security meetings. His son is on Twitter a lot. His son tweets about 30 times a day. He's been pretty much silent for the past since March 2nd. It very well could be that this war that he's been advocating for the past 35 years or so has killed him in a week. And that's really funny. It's just really funny. It doesn't seem like there's any evidence that he's alive. So Sunday morning, I open up my phone and there's a video that says, "What they're saying I'm what?" And he's at a coffee shop and he picks up a latte or whatever, and the thing is filled to the brim, and he picks it up and it doesn't spill, and he takes a sip and it stays.
You know what I really liked?
Yeah.
Is in response to he posted the video like, "Oh, you know, here I am enjoying coffee, whatever." Everyone's posting like, "Oh yeah, I'm there too." Like in the same coffee shop, enjoying the same cup of coffee.
Right.
It shows like it could be fake.
Yeah, they put Sinwar in there too. That was kind of cool. He's alive. But it makes you wonder. It's like so he's definitely missing. He's definitely dead, or he's hiding. I feel like they're robbing us of, because by the time they announce it, he's gonna make a video. He's gonna be like,
I have an announcement, everybody. It's me, Benjamin Netanyahu, and I'm HIV positive. I was me and Michael Rappaport was doing heroin together and having gay sex, and I'm now HIV positive. So I'll be just spending most of my time in this coffee shop.
He'll just put videos out in the coffee shop.
Yeah.
I'll be spending most of my time here on my laptop while I slowly succumb to HIV.
Yeah, it's mad real. Hey, it's mad real. It's Michael Rappaport. Hey, yo, HIV, check your.
The fact that some of you are celebrating this man getting sick is disgusting.
Oh, so me having butt sex with Netanyahu's funny to you? Damn, y'all on some bullshit.
Thank you, Michael. I'm just thank you for.
But I feel like they're not going to announce it because people were saying that when Ariel Sharon passed away, it was like he was in a coma for 8 years and they didn't. He was like, oh, wow. Yeah. So who the hell knows what's happening? I did see another video where this guy was like, yeah. So I tracked his plane. His plane left Tel Aviv. It circled off the coast of Gaza for like 4 hours, which is like really funny. Circled up the coast of Gaza for like 4 hours. Tried to go to Greece. They said no. Tried to go to Cyprus. They said tried to go to Italy. They were like, get out of here. And then he landed in Germany. Maybe that's what this guy said. And like I said, it's hard to get any kind of good information. But what we know is that this video is very suspicious, and he's released multiple short videos. And then I think apparently but could this be like them just trying to sow confusion or something? I mean, I don't think that they're...
Or, it could be in their interest to have everyone claim he's dead and then for him to actually be alive and to be like, look. Or it could be like to get Iran to stop targeting him.
So if they think he's dead, they'll stop trying to... Yeah. If they think he's dead, they'll stop trying to kill him. For sure. Yeah. But then that does mean that he's hiding and he's like worried and he's vulnerable. It is really funny, though. Like, I don't think... The thing with them, right, is that they're always lying, obviously. But they're never like, it's never like, oh, you got me with that one, you know? Like, it's always so, like, they always lie in a way where it's like, I know you guys are lying. It's never like it's never like, oh, you tricked me. Although I did feel that way when I watched the coffee video. I said, oh, no, he's alive. But then it's like immediately everybody starts kind of picking it apart. But they definitely, like, they lie in a way, they lie like 5-year-olds lie to you. Yeah. But I did see another video where this woman said this is the first time where like they're not really controlling the narrative. So they're not really they're not really showing you what's happening. There's little footage just kind of trickling out here and there, but this is the first time where they're not in control. And isn't that kind of beautiful? I mean, isn't this something like we haven't really seen in our lifetime before? We saw Afghanistan, we saw Iraq, and we saw Syria, but Iran was always kind of it was always kind of like their white whale, and it was always like a thing where it's like, people were pretty vocally opposed to Iran. People like Charlie Kirk, very against. What's that? Why are you rolling your eyes? He wasn't really against the Iran. You don't think?
Well, there was no war in Iran yet. Mm-hmm. He was questioning like Israeli influence on U.S. politicians, rightfully, but that's just from like an America First perspective. Though nothing was like anti-imperialist about it. He didn't give a shit about Muslims or Iranians, obviously.
But how do you feel about right-wing media? Because it does feel like sometimes people on the left kind of underestimate how influential these people are. And it does kind of feel like the American right is a little more vocally kind of anti-war and do you think that maybe there is like a populist left and a populist right, and we should kind of like talk to each other a little bit? Like, I think there's plenty of right-wing people who are against, who want to
No one is your enemy except for the ruling class and the feds.
Right. Yeah, because I saw this Instagram video today where this Zoomer was talking about like revolution, and he was like, you know what I think, guys? I think when the revolution comes, we're gonna have like a softer revolution. We're gonna have like a cultural revolution. We're gonna be out in the streets, and we're gonna be growing tomatoes and making art and sharing it with each other, and like all the comments were like the CIA is probably behind this, or they're salivating, or they're yeah, and I hate to be somebody who's like I don't want to feel like a LARPer who's like, oh, if there's going to be revolution, it's going to be really violent. But I do think it's a little naive. It's a little I kind of have to use the term fake and gay here when I think about that that type of stuff, that cultural stuff, that hippie stuff. I think people should study their history, look at the hippies. Your instincts are right. When you see a hippie, your instincts are right to not trust that person. When you see a hippie, your instincts are correct to be disgusted by that person, to look at that person and go, this, I don't want anything to do with this. Anyway, I want to get back to that Netanyahu video. Because I want to talk about how shamelessly these people lie, okay?
Is this video of Benjamin Netanyahu, now being dubbed Coffeegate, a deepfake?
תודה. מה שאלת אותי?
ראש הממשלה אומרים ברשת שאתה בכלל מת?
אני מת על קפה, אתה יודע מה? אני מת על העם שלי. איך הם מתנהגים, פנטסטי. אתה רוצה לספור את מספר אצבעות?
Now, this video of the Israeli Prime Minister buying coffee went viral after claims started circulating online that Netanyahu had been killed or seriously injured by an Iranian strike on Israel. Now, this speculation began around March the 13th after Netanyahu posted a press conference where some users claimed that footage was AI generated, pointing to what they said was a sixth finger on his right hand. So the Prime Minister took to social media debunking these claims by posting this video. But soon after, social media users and also AI tools such as Grok claimed that this video was also a deepfake. So
even this is also AI. It's confirmed AI and deepfake by Grok. Good job. This time they fixed the extra fingers. Maybe next time they'll take care of the magic coffee cup too. Can't believe they have Unit 8200 and this is the best AI work they can do for PR. So yeah, it's very odd, and I don't feel like they're that smart. I don't feel like they're smart enough where this is like them playing 4D chess or something. I think I'm starting to get a little fed up with how dumb they think we all are, and it's been this for 2 years. I mean, we're used to it. We're sick of it. When you watch the Netanyahu coffee shop video, one thing that you notice is that there are other people in the video, but the camera never stays on the other people for that long. And to me, that's a little suspicious. Okay. There's a couple security people. There's a couple employees at the coffee shop, and it's almost like that you would think that if you were going to feature other people in a short video, those people would be on camera for more than like a second. If the point of the video was to say, look at me, I'm out among the people, but there's not any real focus on the other people in the video. However, despite that, they are trying to make a viral star out of this barista who they're saying is 17 years old. So I'm seeing posts that are like, wow, look at this beautiful 17-year-olds we have. People are going, look at the beautiful 17-year-olds that we have in this country. This girl is and here's a headline from I-24 News. Barista in Netanyahu cafe video becomes unexpected international star. A day after video of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu visiting a Jerusalem cafe went viral online, attention has shifted from the political message to an unexpected figure in the background, a teenage barista who briefly appeared serving coffee. The clip, filmed in Hasataf Cafe in Jerusalem and released by the Prime Minister's office, shows Netanyahu addressing rumors circulating on social media about his health and condition. While the video was intended as a direct response to online conspiracy theories, many viewers instead focused on the smiling employee seen behind the counter. Now you would think that in a article like this they would go, the person in the video is 17-year-old Michelle Hanukkah or whatever her name is. She's a student at Tel Aviv University studying skull shapes or something like that. But it just says social media users quickly began sharing screenshots of the young barista, with some posts gaining hundreds of thousands of views on platform X. One widely circulated comment claimed the employee had done more to fight anti-Semitism in 24 hours than the Anti-Defamation League has in years, reflecting the viral tone of the discussion. And of course, because look at her, she's blonde, she's beautiful, you know? She doesn't look... Zionists are... It's just so funny that they're like, look at this beautiful, young, blonde woman. You know what I mean? It's like there's nothing... She doesn't look... She doesn't look... Like Zionism is kind of anti-Semitic. It's kind of anti. It's not like this girl looks like Mel Brooks. I mean, she looks very Aryan. So it's kind of cucked when you think about it, right? It's like these people killed these people killed us, but we look like them. Why would you aspire to look like the master race? It doesn't make any sense. But it says, according to posts from the account Global Updates, the teenager effectively became an internet celebrity after appearing in the clip while serving coffee to the Israeli leader. Users across multiple languages, including Spanish, shared memes and commentary about the moment. And they're saying, look at this beautiful girl, then look at Zohran's ugly Syrian wife. What side do you want to be on? The side of beauty or the side of big nose ghouls who look like Halloween monsters? But you know, this entire video, there is not a single mention of her name or what she is, and it's just like, I don't know, playing right in front of your face once again. Well, just as judging by my timeline, this Israeli barista has reduced global anti-Semitism more than the ADL ever could dream of. Do you remember hashtag Hamas is ISIS? Do you remember that? When they were going, Hamas is ISIS. They're just like ISIS. ISIS and Al-Qaeda are like, they're also fake. They're a creation of the CIA and the Mossad. So
yeah, FSA, Al-Nusra, yeah.
Yeah. Boko Haram.
Come on.
Yeah. Get a job, Boko Haram. Because what is Al-Qaeda? They're just like guys... They're just guys in the mountains with guns. Like, where do they have jobs? I mean, at least the guys in Hamas, right? Like, or Hezbollah or whatever. It's like, you know where they live, you know? They live in houses with big missiles under their kids' beds. That's where they all work. But Al Qaeda always felt like somebody's paying their rent, you know? Iran, Hezbollah, Hamas, those guys are salt of the earth. And then it's almost like when you meet like comedians, you know, when you have a comedian friend and you go, I have a feeling that your dad pays your rent. That's Al Qaeda and ISIS, right? It's giving like it's giving nepo baby a little bit. It's giving nepo baby. It's giving somebody is paying for this. It's giving I pretend to be working class and I'm not. It's giving hey, I'm from Long Island and I'm just like you, but actually my parents are worth millions of dollars and I just, you know, they said I could pursue stand-up comedy if I moved out of the house. That's what ISIS. Why don't you guys get your shit together? Yeah, Hamas is ISIS. So it's funny. You just gotta sort of connect the dots. I saw maybe the funniest post. This is a little off topic, but I saw maybe the funniest post ever. Sean Lennon, right? So you gave me that book. Drugs as Weapons Against Us. John Lennon has a son named Sean Lennon. Yeah. Okay, so here's this family, right? The world is a fascinating place. The world's an interesting place. People are very interesting. I always thought, until you gave me that book, I always assumed that John Lennon was like just a woman beater, right? I thought he was like I just thought John Lennon was some woman beating commie, you know? However, Drugs as Weapons Against Us is the book. One of the best, I think one of my favorite books I ever read. Michelle gave it to me. Okay, but John Lennon was very political. John Lennon used to, and this is a fun anecdote about him in the book. When he would play Germany, he would like look at people in the crowd and he'd be like, "Yeah, where were you during the war, you kraut?" And that's such a funny thing to do to people who've like paid to see you.
Yeah, because it's the 60s, right?
Yeah.
So they're all like,
Yeah.
it's questionable.
Right. Yeah. Did I tell you that Deb is doing like a course at the YMCA? She's doing like a baby course at the YMCA. And she had me come to the first course, and there was a dad that showed up with his baby. There was only one person that showed up to the first course, and it was a dad, and he had his baby, and he's like speaking Hebrew to his baby. And Deb's like, "Oh, that's nice that your baby is like bilingual, you know." And the guy's like, "Oh yeah, I'm from Israel." And so we were like, "Oh, okay. Oh, that's very nice." But it was only me, Deb, our baby, and this guy and his baby. So we're like, well, we're thankful that you're here, you know? This guy paid money to take Deb's course, so obviously we're going to be polite and everything. But that's so funny that John Lennon was doing that, being like, "You're a Nazi," to people who paid money to see him. That's cool. I mean, that's like that's me basically, like principled to the point where, you know, you don't have any friends anymore and your wife is annoyed by you and everybody is bothered by you. Okay, so John Lennon so John Lennon, he was a woman beating commie, okay? But Yoko Ono's family was from a very wealthy family in Japan who might have been connected to the CIA. So what does that tell you? But also, I waited on Yoko Ono one time, and she tipped me like 100% of the bill. I mean, she only got 2 coffees, so it was a $7 bill. She tipped me $7, but it meant a lot. Even though this guy's a woman beating commie, it's like maybe she was a little. Maybe that was an op.
Did he actually beat her? Is that true?
I think he did beat. I don't think he was great on women. So anyway, so Sean Lennon is his son, and Sean Lennon is like medically untalented, like a very like, you know, nepo baby with like no talent, and he just like posts very mediocre stuff. So Sean Lennon posted something like, "I think when we look at the decline of civilization, we'll see that it started with the rise of Barney." So Sean Lennon is a guy who's like probably in his mid 40s and he's mad at Barney. Then somebody responded. They said, "Nepo baby is attacking a self-made artist with a legendary catalog."
Yeah, whose show was on public
TV.
Yeah. For poor kids.
No, public access TV.
Literally.
Yeah. And had a diverse cast. But one thing about me, I did watch Barney till I was like 5, like past the age where you're supposed to watch it, like to the point where it's like embarrassing. Like I had to kind of secretly watch Barney. No, but then somebody else responded to him, and they were like, "Did he shoot your dad?" And then Sean Lennon quote tweeted that. He was like, "All of this because I attacked Barney." So it's like, we really got under his skin. It's fun to get under people's skin. It's fun to bully people. Dude, moving on from people who are African American coded, I saw an interview with Jack Harlow. And they were like interviewing him, and I love wiggers. Like I love a guy that like, because first of all, they're not afraid of anybody. They're completely fearless. I love seeing a wigger like reinvent himself, but still as a wigger. Like I love watching a wigger like go deeper into the like lean into being a wigger, because you know, I follow Phoebe Robinson on Instagram. She's a friend of mine, and she was sort of like, she does these videos where she talks about pop culture and she yells at people and everything. But no disrespect to Phoebe, she's a friend and everything. But she was like very upset. She was very upset at Jack Harlow. Because now Jack Harlow is the guy who does the "I'm vanilla babe, I'll choke you, but I ain't no killer babe." You know that song? 28. I'm 28 years old, but I'm still a baby. But he's very committed. He's very committed he's very committed to being black. And I think what happened was when Jack Harlow came out, there was a secret, there was like this nefarious like secret they paid black women to like tweet about him and to be like, "Oh, I like that." You know, they paid black women to be like, "Oh, this white boy got it." Someday, if we have the budget to do that, I would love to get that. I would love to get that going. I would love some grassroots, some fake. What I would love to do is find like a bot farm to be like, I love Mike Recine. You know, maybe look into that, see if we can make that happen. But anyway, so but there's something about like wiggers already make people so mad, and then they like reinvent themselves. Like Chet Hanks was a wigger, but then he was like, I'm gonna be Jamaican now. And he like went deeper down the rabbit hole. Like there's something beautiful about that, because Jack Harlow, and I couldn't even name another song of his, but I guess he's got a new album out, right? So he's on this New York Times podcast, and they're asking him about, you know, white rappers, and if it's easier for white rappers to change genres or whatever. And he's like, yeah, well, I guess I hadn't really thought about that, but
there is something about being a white rapper that first puts the chip on your shoulder, and I think that that's why a lot of the people I just mentioned, maybe Post Malone especially aside, but yourself included, rapping your ass off is really important at the beginning. Like bars, like proving yourself, right? Yes. You could hear that in your early. We're talking about privilege. You have the ability to say, I rapped my ass off. I'm not going to do that anymore, at least for now. And radio programmers, award shows, press, like people take you seriously if you do that. If a black rapper wants to do something completely sonically adventurous, it can often be treated as a whim or something to be ignored or a joke.
Country music, for example, has become a safe landing place for former white rappers. Right. Rock music has become a safe landing place. These are sort of pre-existing industry structures that welcome a famous person who got famous.
John's saying you didn't retreat into a whiter genre. In fact, you arguably went deeper into
black music.
Deeper into blackness. Yeah. So
I guess with this album, I became more black. He said,
hold on.
You can find it's on YouTube.
Hold on.
It's on like a New York Times podcast.
Hold on, Mike.
But yeah,
his new album is called Monica.
What's that? Like the singer? You need to give it up. Had about enough. We got to do some more karaoke. If you like when I sing, I mean, I'm not gonna sing unless you guys encourage me. We are gonna need to see some. If we're gonna keep the singing, we are gonna need to see some positive comments about the singing, because we're only getting negative.
I'll get some black women.
We're only please find a bot farm. We're only getting negative comments about the singing. And you don't know why, but you're dying to try. You wanna kiss the girl. I sang that at karaoke the other night, but I was very respectful in the way that I did it. I didn't go like full on Jamaican accent, but I did a nice balance right between white guy and Jamaican guy. She don't got a lot to say, but there's something about her. And you don't know why, but you're dying to try. You wanna kiss the girl. Right? That's like just Jamaican enough, right? So anyway, so Jack Harlow is like, it's so funny because he's become like a different kind of black guy in his new music video. Like he's like, because the old one was like, you know, rapper, got like white rapper, but this new one, he's like, he's doing like middle-aged R&B singer. It's like, girl, I miss you. He's doing like a toned down D'Angelo. Like he's literally,
his album name is Monica.
Monica, yeah. Ooh, I know. They're playing right in our
What
face.
is that?
They're really...
I mean, I haven't listened to it, obviously, but like that's such a funny album name for someone who's famous for being a wigger.
Yeah. Right. Right. Dude, sometimes it's like nothing is really subliminal anymore. You know, I was actually talking to my uncle this weekend about 9/11, but I showed him the Larry Silverstein video, and he was like, yeah, it's like right in our... They're not even like subtle about it. You're right. That is not a good album name. I guess what I'm getting at is like, it's really funny if it's like you're a wigger and you reinvent yourself as a new kind of black guy. Because that would be like me being like, you know, I'm going down to the Chinese buffet, got my Bluetooth in my ear. I'm gonna eat some crab legs with my wife. I can't get my son to act right. My son ain't acting right. He on some bullshit. But me and my wife gonna eat some crab legs. Baby, don't fill up on the egg rolls. Wait till they put out the crab. Yeah. I want to be a middle-aged black guy so bad. Like, it's such a more... As I approach middle age, Michelle, it's such a more dignified way to like live, to like get to age. Being black, you just age so much more gracefully. Aging as a white guy, you just get sloppy. You gotta, you know. But aging as a black guy, you get to wear all kinds of like sweaters. You get to wear all different kinds of sweaters and like suits, all different kinds of hats. Kangol hats, maybe a cowboy hat. You could even wear like a straight, like an African type hat. You know, like those, like they just look good. Like they look good in every single type of hat. I do remember one time I had a great aunt and uncle, and my great aunt had Alzheimer's. And so she had really bad Alzheimer's, but she was like really into God and Jesus and everything. So she would just like ramble about God all the time. There was this middle-aged black guy like eating dinner with his wife. And she just like wandered over to their table and started talking to them about God. And the guy was like, yes, ma'am, that's right. And he's like, and you know what? The best is yet to come. And I was like, this is cool. I was like that. I remember thinking like that guy is cool. I don't know. If you guys have any tips on how I can age more like a black guy, age with dignity, yeah, check it out. And shout out to Jack Harlow, and good luck, I guess, with your album. I don't know how I feel about that. I gotta look into that a little bit. Who is Monica? Anyway, our mayor is under fire. Dude, Deb and I were doing some like mayor. We were practicing like political stuff. Like I was like, me and Michelle play this game on the show called Mayor Mike. And it's like you ask me a question, I have to answer it. You try to get me with like a gotcha question, and I have to answer it. And I was like, all right, Deb, you be the mayor, and I'm going to ask you a question. I asked her about rhetoric, and I asked her if Israel has a right to exist, is what I asked her. And I did a good job as the reporter who was like, hey, your supporters have dangerous rhetoric. Your supporters have dangerous rhetoric, and they make the community in this city feel unsafe, and how do you feel about that, and blah blah blah. You know, it's interesting because it's easy to trap people. Like, it's easy with politics. We definitely get to say whatever we want, and that's nice. It's nice being able to say what you want, not having people to answer to. But he's in a little bit of trouble because apparently his wife, so they're going after his wife. They're doing a deep dive on Rama. Rama Zohran's wife. She's Syrian, I believe. Now, she is, what do we know about her? She's an artist. Seems a little like, she doesn't really talk very much. I saw one of her Instagram videos where she was doing an illustration, and she was talking about how she was doing an illustration of somebody who was a symbol of Palestinian resistance. And I said, all right, well, that's going to be a problem. You know, just the word resistance, that's a problem. But she got in a little bit of trouble because she did an illustration for a Palestinian author, a very well-known Palestinian author named Susan Abu Hawa, who wrote a book called Mornings in Jenin, one of her most famous works, and she wrote another book in 2020. Anyway, she's a very well-known very well-known Palestinian author and activist, and she's also somebody who has enough respect for herself and doesn't mince words and doesn't compromise on the language that she wants to use. And I think we want more of that energy. We need more of that energy. But Rama did an illustration for an essay, I guess for an essay that Susan wrote. Somebody cornered Zohran about it, and they said, what do you think of this? Your wife is doing an illustration for this author. This author has said all this inflammatory stuff about Israelis and everything, and what do you think of that? And Zohran said, yeah, I don't know, she was just a third party. I don't know why they're asking him about. I don't know why. I wish that we could have, I really wish we could have somebody on the left who could take a page out of Donald Trump's book and just kind of say what they want to say, speak honestly. If you remember during 2016 when Trump was getting some heat, getting some traction, he wasn't censoring himself. He wasn't mincing words. He went on stage in South Carolina and said Bush got us into a war, and Bush lied about the war. Jeb's brother lied about the war. They knew they were lying, and he was booed and everything. But it makes me wonder if the left will ever have that. I hope someday, and I don't know if it'll ever happen just because of the nature of our side, our politics. But I think about this a lot. I hope maybe someday we can have somebody who's a little bit honest, who is a little bit unfiltered, maybe even a little rough around the edges, but somebody who's not going to be intimidated and pushed around by everybody outside the party, but also within the party. I think the right's very good at falling in line and getting behind somebody, and the left has trouble with, we remember when Joe Rogan back in 2020, when he said he was probably going to vote for Bernie Sanders, everybody lost their minds and everybody said, but Bernie, you have to reject this. People who, by the way, probably didn't even like Bernie Sanders, people who didn't even want to see Bernie Sanders win the nomination, okay, coming out and saying Bernie needs to reject this endorsement because Joe Rogan's a transphobe and Joe Rogan said this and that, and we can't have people like we can't have people like this in our party. And it's like it's bullshit. It's a fucking lie. It's I don't know if these people are stupid or if they're actively trying to sabotage, and they're doing it under the what is the word? The guise, I guess, of well, I'm just being, I want to be tolerant, I want to be accepting, and I want to make sure everybody feels safe. I want to see less of this. I want to see less of this horseshit. I want to see less of this horseshit, mealy-mouthed criticism, right? Because Susan is somebody, she's a Palestinian woman who grew up in a refugee camp, and it's crazy. Now, Zohran came out and said, listen, like, my wife got the job through a third party, and she's never met Susan, and I find that language reprehensible. And he said reprehensible. He said that a Palestinian woman's language was reprehensible. And I want to, but there has been some discourse about this, okay? And the people who are critical of people like Susan will say, well, listen, we're trying to build a coalition here. Why even ask him about that? And why even answer questions on that? You know what I mean? Why even? I'm the mayor of New York City. Why are you asking me about Ireland? I don't know. I don't give a shit. I don't think about Ireland. I'm an eighth Irish. I don't think about those people. That's why I'm not completely annoying, because I have an eighth Irish in me. That's why I'm not 100% Mongoloid, because I'm Italian and Polish, Mongoloid, but I have an eighth. I'm like 1/8 intelligent. But what I'm getting at is that it just bothers me to see people critical of people like Susan who go like, well, we have to build a coalition. We have to get people on our side. We have to bring people in. Let's tone down the rhetoric. All this bullshit about rhetoric. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up about rhetoric. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of like you I don't even know if you realize it, but the way that you're approaching this whole thing, there's literally Palestinian people who are like, give me back the key to my grandfather's house. No, you stole my house less than 100 years ago. I want it back. It's kind of insane. It's a little insane to me that after watching a genocide for 2 years that we're doing this. It's bullshit that we're criticizing people's language. I mean, like, would you criticize if you met a Jewish person who was critical of Germans, who didn't like Germans and said that German people are whatever? Are you really gonna sit there and go like, that's, hey, let's tone down the rhetoric? Who the fuck are you? What, aren't you ashamed of yourself? It just really demonstrates a lack of understanding and a removal from, and we're all more or less removed from this stuff, but it just really demonstrates a lack of empathy, I guess, a lack of understanding of the big picture, and it makes people think that you're just kind of doing this, that your support of Palestine is self-serving, that you're serving your own ego, and I'm kind of done with it. I'm done with this academic nonsense. Because she released a response video that was like, really, if I was Zohran, I'd say, you could come over to the Gracie Mansion and spank me right now.
She said, quote, Jewish supremacist slaughter was happening in Gaza, and that, quote, the sons of Satan will taste what they meted to us. Meted?
Yeah, meted
to us.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think the point is, like, she's saying Jewish. She's not saying Israeli.
But she also said that, like, 82% of... I mean, I think this is kind of the uncomfortable territory that you get into, but isn't it something like 82%? I mean, all synagogues support the state of Israel. Most Jewish Americans.
Yeah, also it's like,
Zionists.
look at some right winger's wife and what she might have retweeted once. Like, I'm sure she might have retweeted someone online that said something about black people, but no one cares because there isn't like a giant, anti-defamation league for black people combing through everyone's stuff.
Right. Yeah, I just think we have to we got to be done with this. We got to move past all this. We got to move past this like liberal arts, where we're liberal artsing everybody. We have to stop thinking about everybody's feelings. We have to think about who is the most affected. We have to, because it just shows a lack of urgency to the problem. There's a very urgent problem right here. There's a very I mean, if you saw somebody beating up a kid on the street, you wouldn't, if you went, hey, don't fucking do that, and somebody was like, hey, can we tone our language down? Now it is delicate. It is delicate when there's, given the history, history and persecution, everything. It is kind of delicate. I'm still like, how do you feel about the term Jewish supremacy? How do you feel about that? Is that accurate?
That's like what a lot of Zionists want. That's literally what they believe in.
Yeah, and I guess I'm still not totally comfortable. I'm not totally comfortable using terms like that, and I think we all still have that education, that Holocaust education, ingrained in us. I saw the Oscar nominated
But
animated
the Holocaust
shorts.
education, the lesson of that is to apply it no matter which group is doing the oppressing.
Yeah,
so Aryan supremacy, bad.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Jewish supremacy as an ideology, also bad.
I just think we all have a little bit of a knee-jerk hesitance to
appease the Zionists that might be listening. Nothing's ever going to be enough for them anyway. They want to control the conversation.
No, but I guess I still hesitate when it's time to choose my words.
There's no need to say Jewish when you could say Zionist. That's true.
Right.
But Zionists will criticize you for saying Zionist too. They're going to criticize you no matter what, unless you're saying Israel has the right to exist and to defend itself, and they don't target civilians, and Hamas is ISIS, and
But there are some people on the right, and maybe also a little bit on the left too, who will say that like it is Jewish supremacy is part of their religion, It's in their Bible, and I'm starting to dip my toe in the religious stuff a little bit. Because I don't know what you know about evangelicals, but have you seen like Jesus Camp or anything like that? Because evangelicals are Zionist. They believe that Israel is like the recreation of the Holy. So evangelicalism is like it's a perversion of Christianity. Now, Jesus Christ was actually the most masculine man to ever exist. So all you guys in the manosphere, I got a man for you to follow, Jesus Christ. And I'm not joking. But evangelicalism is a perversion of Christianity because they believe that modern day Israel is like the return to the Holy Land. And then it's like, if you believe that, then why are they bombing it? Why are they, all that stuff. So evangelicalism is it's fucked up. But we're going to continue this over on Patreon. I hope you guys join us over on Patreon, patreon.com/Recine time. $5 a month gets you an additional episode every week. And we'll see you over there. We want to thank our new subscribers, patreon.com/Recine time. We'll see you over there. Take care. It's Recine time. Bye-bye.